on the economy. Prior to this, he described the previous government's handling of the economy as criminal. What are your impressions on the state of the economy?
First of all, let me start from where you ended. A criminal economy was able to still employ hundreds and thousands and millions of people. A criminal economy was still able to keep our lights on. A criminal economy was still able to still pay our nurses and teacher training allowances. Well, arrears does not mean it won't be paid. Every government will come and leave arrears. Make no mistake. Even by the time you hand over, people have started working from 1st January. So you still have arrears to pay. And then a criminal economy was still able to sustain economic development. A criminal economy was able to ensure that indeed the Ghanaian young people had an opportunity in exercise of their constitutional right, the right to work, the right to economic empowerment and freedom. Throughout the president's speech, one thing that I felt was a stab in the back of many young Ghanaians who did form a queue to cast a ballot for President Mahama, was for him to create more jobs. In creating more jobs, the president decided to let them be unemployed. You cannot create employment by creating unemployment situation.
Sammi Awuku, but according to government spokespersons, we understand that this particular revocation of appointments were done because all of these appointments, or most of them, were not done through the proper channel or were not done with the necessary due diligence.
What auditing did they do? Did they show you any audits that they did institution by institution? If you have the nurses, if you have teachers going through a training process by application, by screening, by interview, and the issuance of appointment letter, and you tell me that they lack governance principle, which audits did you do? Why were the audits not, the findings of the audit also not published? For all of us to also know that, okay, in ChannelOne, let's say ChannelOne was a state institution, ChannelOne TV indeed did recruit 5 people. After the 5 who were recruited, indeed we've audited and only 3 were able. So it's
that there was no proper audit to ascertain.
It was purely a political decision, born out of emotions and born out of subjective ideas. And I'm saying this because, I think that there should be a paradigm shift in the way our governance processes work. Suffice to say, let's say that even it did happen, but I can tell you for a fact that this mass revocation, I didn't see any under the MB. But let me even credit them that even did. You promised that you were resetting Ghana. In resetting Ghana, what you did was to go back to the old things that you have criticized. President on his own social media pages criticized those times.
Sammi, your point is well made. But let's stay.
Let me go to other issues as well.
I'll come to you briefly, but still on the economy, very briefly. We know that government has promised to cut a lot of wastage we saw with the previous administration. You are the NLA, and you were directly under the Ministry of Finance. How do you see government's big promise to cut a lot of the wastage, particularly created by your government in the previous administration?
First of all, the wastage they are talking about, I think it's just early days yet. I'm saying this because the presidential staffers list and those who work under the office of the president will be submitted to the Council of State. It will eventually find its way to Parliament. To the original executives of the NDC have been given presidential staffer status. So don't worry. You have a lot for us to
doesn't bar them from
not at all. So if you are questioning people who are presidential staffers, and now I can tell you for certainty that some regional executives of the NDC have been made presidential staffers across the country. Staffers, and then also you want to form a lean government. There were some institutions that we didn't even have deputy CEOs. And I'm giving you an example.
He stuck with a 60 ministers promise, which a lot of Ghanaians and the civil society organizations have welcomed. So that's a step in the right direction.
So you cut down to 60 ministers and create many more deputy CEO positions and create CEO positions. Isn't that interesting for you? Because it's still the government machinery that is running.
It doesn't come with the same salary remunerations and cost in managing the office.
Let me even educate you more on that. I was a director general. I was a CEO. I can tell you that some of the CEOs are even paid better than ministers of state. And what CEOs are entitled to in many of the state-owned enterprises is either equal to what a minister is taking or even more. Well, works.
When you were Director General,
Yes.
was it the same for you?
Well, I won't be able. Let me give you an example. The NLA Director General was taking, let's say, from time that I came to me, from Glow's time, the NDC's time, or Sayamiao's time. Mine, I didn't vary it. It was around 24 to 26,000 cities. Even in Parliament takes just around a little bit of that, or more of that. But then I can tell you that a CEO will have access to so many things, including what this entertainment allowance, drivers.
You agree with me that a reduction from 120 to 60 is significant, so much that you can't discount it.
120. Or you are talking about the first term?
The first term.
Yeah, so second term, President Akufo-Addo did cut it down.
It was still way above the 60.
I have no doubt. I don't disagree with you. But what I am saying is that if you are cutting down on wastage in the area of ministerial appointment and deputy ministerial appointment, and in the same vein, creating more other CEO positions is debit and credit. Again, when the president mentioned the big push, a $10 billion infrastructure big push, we've heard this before. We've heard this song being played. And
the communicators tell us it's a complete different initiative from the Hope City we saw in the first administration. No, but I'm saying that the communicators tell us that this is aimed to help startups and businesses thrive in what has been a very difficult economic situation caused by your administration.
What was the Hope City supposed to do? Was it supposed to address an entertainment challenge? Not at all. I just think that the president today, I just want to credit him with the fact that he did tick the box as far as his constitutional mandate is concerned by delivering a State of the Nation's address. Whilst in the chamber, and whilst he said he has fixed doom so, some parts of our country were in darkness.
It's interesting because the final thing I wanted to talk to you about was the power situation in the country. Yesterday, we witnessed the vetting of the deputy minister designate for energy, where he mentioned that power has been fully restored. There were maintenance work that had to be done. For which reason parts of the
Your big screen in your studio, you always read what people are posting on the social media. They keep still telling you.
The concern by this government is that you left large debt at ECG, a 68 billion debt at the electricity company of Ghana, amidst other general administration inefficiencies. We've seen the audit.
In 2009, the same NDC administration at that time said that Ghana was not broke. Whilst they were campaigning, they said Ghana was broke and all that. But going to the IMF, they painted a picture to the IMF that we're on solid ground. President Mahama, in his first term, in his last State of the Nation's address, he said that when he was president, that now the meat is down to the bone. My brother. So that's what I'm saying. The only consistent thing about the NDC has been their inconsistencies as far as these national issues are concerned. Now we need transparency. If you are calling for the minority to be cooperative with government and come on board to fix the numerous problems of our country, we'll respect that call. But where it is selective, where you can see deliberately that the government is picking and choosing and using the coercive machinery of state to even intimidate people, and also ensuring that by the stroke of a pen, tens and thousands of many young Ghanaians are losing their job. We cannot be a party to this food bazaar.
I want to talk to you finally on the health sector. We heard the president talk about efforts underway to mitigate the effects, particularly on the United States Agency for International Development's holdback, the USAID temporary holdback on funding for major interventions here. Are you satisfied with the president's directive to the finance ministry to look for mitigating ways to ensure that the effect of this funding pause is not felt on the ordinary Ghanaian?
Well, this is a critical national debate and a critical national issue. It will be in our own collective interest that the funding gap is properly addressed for us to also mitigate that.
To say you were satisfied with the president's response?
As for the president directing, it is the same old story. I want a situation where it's not I am directing all this, but we see the operationalization of the direction.
Thank you so much for your time.